Alright guys, so we will be away from the homestead for the long weekend. It's going to be Memorial Day holiday weekend, and so we're setting up our homestead so that the chickens and turkey poults will be okay while we're gone. So we just cleaned out this area, and normally I'll put a light layer of pine shavings down, but because we're going to be gone for a few days, this is going to be a much thicker layer that I'm putting down here in the area where the turkey poults are. It's just the same idea as a deep litter bedding method, which I use in the winter month for my layers as you're seeing right here. So all I do is just add layers of hay, sometimes grass clippings, dried leaves, and so having all these different materials which contains carbon and nitrogen and mixed with the chicken droppings and urine. It's just a perfect recipe for this to start the process of breaking down and turning into compost. Now here I've made available 2 feeders filled with feed, which will be enough to last these poults for the time we won't be here. Now I put them right next to each other because I want them to be able to feed together whenever they choose to feed, and not just have them in separate areas where some of the birds feed in one area and some in another area. That would just encourage bullying as far as my experience with my flocks in the past. And so I have them placed together so that they can all feed together in harmony. Now I will do the exact same thing over here in this area where we're going to place 2 waterers, that they'll have access to water while we're gone. Now we're also going to place 2 waterers here, and if you notice, they are larger waterers. Just as with the feeders over there, they are 2 larger feeders. We've upgraded them just for the reason that we won't be here available to refill them every day. So we upgraded the size, which we already had on hand, and I'm going to place the second water right here in the same. Well, I'll just move the water over a little bit and place the second one right next to it, so they would be drinking together the same way as they would be feeding from the feeders. So this setup is to make sure that they have all the necessities while we're gone. They have the heat lamp, they have their roost right here. They can use that whenever they choose to. They've been doing so. And the water, we're going to sit it right here next to this other one, and they have space right around both waterers that they can walk around if they choose to do so and feed from any angle that they feel comfortable doing. And also the same with the feeders right here. I guess they're really full right now and they're just relaxing under the heat lamp. It's a bit chilly. It's in the 40s today and for the next couple of days, but they seem to be comfortable, so I'll just let them be, let them relax. Everything's in place. They have their heat lamp, their feed, their water, a clean space, and so they're good to go. And this is pretty much a quick and easy setup, providing everything that they're going to need for the next few days while we're not here. Now, as far as the layers, now hubby is refilling the barrel with their water. We have a 55-gallon barrel that's attached to these water nipples that they drink from. So we're making sure that there's sufficient water in there. And I'll tell you, this setup is specifically for times like these when we want to get away for a little bit, and they'll just access it once they need to, and it works like a charm. As for the feeder here, it's gravity fed. So once they eat what's at the bottom, what's in the tube would drop in the feeding area and they'll have access to that. Now for the amount of chickens we have in here, this is sufficient to last them at least for a week, and it's filled up all the way. So we come out here and we fill this up all the way to the top, and so they'll have feed for a longer period of time, and this would not need to be refilled as often. Now for the few days they're going to be in their indoor run, and as you can see in here, they have sufficient space for all the birds. We have 8 layer chickens and 1 laying heritage turkey, and they get along very well, even though this is a mixed flock with docile breeds and also more aggressive, or active I should say, breeds. But this is pretty much a setup for the few days that we're gone. And of course we do have someone to collect the eggs while we are not here, and they're also going to keep an eye out on the baby turkeys, of course. But we just prefer to do most of the heavier work and setting up these birds with all the necessities while we're absent from the homestead for a few days. Well, this is all for now. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next upload.